Alan Rowland again, and I want to continue with our presentations on the early parts of Walker County in Jasper, Alabama. And I gave an earlier presentation about Moses Camak, one of the early leaders in Jasper and in Walker County. Talked to you about Moses Camak and his mill. Camak Mill is what it was known as, and that made me wonder a little bit about a cemetery that was located close by where his property was, and that was known as Camak Cemetery. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's not a very large cemetery. Now I want to go to my documents camera, and we'll get our title here: Camak Cemetery, located in Walker County, Alabama. It's near Musgrove Country Club. It's not very difficult to find. In fact, I can tell you that when my parents had membership in Musgrove Country Club many, many years ago, and I was just a teenager at that time, I always heard the rumors that there was a cemetery that was located on the property of Musgrove Country Club. Never knew where it was. And I started exploring this recently just to try to locate where this cemetery is. And I was able to find this. Now, if you want to find it today, remember this is on Musgrove Country Club property. That's private property. I don't know if they would have a problem with you going to the Camak Cemetery or not, but where it is located, it's right where the tennis courts are at Musgrove. In fact, if you were playing tennis, you'd never even know there was a cemetery, which is right next to the tennis courts. Actually, it is to the east of the tennis courts there, probably 50 feet in the woods, you know. It's very obvious once you get in the cemetery, but, you know, if you're down on the tennis courts, you don't know that that cemetery is quite close by. And if you go to the cemetery, you'll find that there's approximately, 16 to 20 readable markers. I'll show you photographs of a few of those in just a few minutes. And who knows, you know, there are 30, 40, maybe 50 or even more unmarked burial sites with no names on them, or just stones that are present there. You know, it's grown over today, pretty much so. But this cemetery was established around 1856. That's the first recorded date in the cemetery. It was located on the property of Moses Camak. Moses Camak had his property close to Blackwater Creek. That's where he had Camak Mill, or some people pronounce it Camak Mills. If you're going to the country club today, if you're on Country Club Road and you take the right to go into Musgrove Country Club, if you go straight, you'll find an old bridge there. It's a metal bridge. It's closed to the public today. But right beneath that, that's where the Camak Mill. They made flour. It was a grist mill. The last burial in that cemetery was in 1978, and that is true. It is 1978, and I found that burial site. I did not take a photograph of it. Now, this is kind of interesting. I dug this up, and it's actually an affidavit. It's a statement that came from Anna Camak. Now, that's not the daughter to Moses Camak, but it's probably his granddaughter anyway. And this statement was in 1935, and she gave her account of this, that this was part of the old campground. It was located near what was called a tabernacle, used for camp meetings. According to her, it collapsed in 1876. There was a nearby church which was used by Methodists and Baptists until 1882. I did not take the time to try to find the ruins for that. Don't even know if it is present there. The church was also used as a school during the summer months until 1891. Now, if you are curious about the readable graves, and perhaps you can see this here, this is a list of those that have been identified here. And some of them are not very clear, but a couple in particular that I found to be fascinating was this one here, which was, you can't see it there, but there it is, the infant Montgomery, who lived for 10 days. And if we look at another one here, this was the daughter of Moses Camak, Alice Camak Craig, and in the previous presentation I mentioned her, and also mentioned here her husband, which is James Craig. Both of those individuals are buried in that cemetery. Here's Fredonia Camak. That was another daughter of Moses Camak. So anyway, now I want to share with you some photographs of this cemetery. And like I said, you know, there are very few of these graves that you can actually read the grave markers on. Now, this is looking at it from the eastern entrance here. Now, over on this side here, this is where the tennis courts. In fact, you can see the tennis courts in the background right there. So it is right above the tennis courts. But here it is here, somewhat overgrown a little bit. Here's a photograph showing you Alice Camak. Alice Camak, who was a daughter of Moses Camak, married to, and well, let me move right along with another one here, showing you one of the burial plots. That's for the Owens family. I don't know how many graves are in there. Some are marked, some I'm sure many are not marked with that. Here's Fred Owen here. All right, you can read the dates on that. Most of these, in this case here, he was born in 1900 and died in 1927, 27 years of age. Here's another one. C.P. Owen. Notice the Masonic symbol, which is at the top. C.P. Owen, that's in the Owen plot there. And here's another one. Another name associated with early Jasper, the Ryan family. This is John Ryan and his wife. They're both buried there. He was a member of the 56th Alabama Partisan Rangers during the Civil War. Here's the one I was telling you about, the little baby, the infant Montgomery, that died in after 10 days. All right, another burial here, B.N. Sides here, another burial site here. Here's another one here, which is Buck Layman. Born 1899, died 1925, so age 26. So anyway, that's just a short presentation on Camak Cemetery. You know, like I said, it's located right next to Musgrove Country Club. I want to get permission to go up there. Honestly, I don't think anybody would disturb you if you just went up there on your own. Alrighty, thank you very much for your attention.